and as wisdom would have it, as wisdom would have it, she returns to you on this most auspicious weekend as the first prize winner in Irish dance. So she's agreed to do 2 dances for you this morning. Tell us about the second dance. What's the difference?
So the difference between the first dance and the second dance, the name is a different name. The first dance I did was called the slip jig. The next one I will do is called the light jig. The difference is that the first one I did was a little slower and is more elegant. The second one is a little faster and more upbeat. So, yeah.
Alana Madden, thank you.
Together, heart and soul, as we love together. Young and old, we will sing together, together in one song. Come together from different worlds, we are drawn together. In our own way we can pray together. Together we are strong. Come together, dreams and hands we will join together to build a place we can grow together. Together we are home.
Let's take a moment to come together in the time of reflection. If you feel comfortable doing so, we can shut our eyes. And let's take a deep, refreshing breath together. As we breathe together, we recognize our oneness, our union, our unity. Our life energy breathes in harmony with those souls who sit before me, with those who sit behind me. Our life energy breathes in harmony with the beautiful souls to my left and the precious souls to my right. we are all connected to life itself. As individualized expressions of this life, we join together in community. We join together in compassion. We join together in healing. We join together in love. And so it is.
I see God in you. You see God in me. One path, one vision, one family. Come together, heart and soul, as we love together. Young and old, we will sing together, together in one song, together in one song, together in one song.
I arise today through the strength of heaven, light of sun, radiance of moon, splendor of fire, speed of lightning, swiftness of wind, depth of sea, stability of earth, and firmness of rock. I arise today through God's strength to pilot me, God's might to uphold me, God's wisdom to guide me, and God's eye to look before me, God's ear to hear me, God's word to speak for me, God's hand to guard me, God's way to lie before me, God's shield to protect me, and God's host to save me. Christ within me, Christ before me, Christ behind me, Christ in me, Christ beneath me, Christ above me, Christ on my right and Christ on my left, Christ when I lie down and Christ when I sit down, Christ when I arise, Christ in the heart of every man who thinks of me, Christ in the mouth of everyone who speaks of me, Christ in every eye that sees me, Christ in every ear that hears me. I arise today.
I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory of God I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory.
Good morning. Happy St. Patrick's Day. And as you probably all know, I'm a very proud mom. And I just want to say, this It's pretty, that was pretty awesome. And I'm just going to give a shout out to my kid because that was really professional. Her shoe fell off, and that was my fault for not putting it on correctly. And she danced anyway, so. So shout out, Alana, that's awesome. It's a happy St. Patrick's Day, and I don't have a lot to announce. So YOU, actually, their paperwork will be due next week for rally. So they are getting ready to do yet another big event for the region, and I'm excited about that. And let's bless these kids.
Thank you for being our family. Thank you for being our friend. Thank you for blessing and teaching us. God bless you. Amen. In the light, in the love, in the glory of God I am.
Well, good morning and welcome to Unity in Lynnwood. I'm so very glad that each of you are here. I don't know about you, but I tell you, coming here on Sunday morning is just so helpful for me in so many ways. It's a place for me to get re-energized. It's a place for me to be inspired. It's a place for me to be reminded of a greater truth when sometimes my thinking might make its way off track sometime during the week. It's a place for me to find community and friendship. And it's also a place in light of world events where I find a place of compassion here as well. I'm reminded more now than any time on this Sunday morning that we are one, that we are united. It matters not what religious background we have, what we carry, whatever was in our history, whatever faith tradition we have come from. We are one as a people on this planet. We are all believing that the central truth to our lives is love, is peace, is harmony, is just getting along. That's what we all want. And sometimes there's a reflection of something that moves off track. This is a place where we can come together and recognize that, but we recognize the greater truth that love and peace prevails no matter what. And in the process, we can pause and have a hug of compassion. We can have a hug of unitedness in a sadness. That's okay too, as we are reminded once again of a greater truth of our unity. That is the truth that we live in, and that is our message among each other and into our world, and that will bring us to a better and better place. Bless everyone on this planet right now. Thank you for indulging me for a minute. We need prayer support, and this is a place where we can get it. And sometimes we think about that prayer support being something that's an individualized support for ourselves. Oftentimes, however, we also know that when we ask for prayer support, that's for something, a collective energy that's happening, some compassion that we want to bring to the world, that we want to join some others in prayer about. We can do that as well. So whether that's an individual prayer in your heart about a circumstance that you are dealing with today, or something that you are celebrating today that you'd like prayer support individually, or if there's something more collective about our world, about our community, about those you love that you would like to get prayer support for and about and with as well, we offer that here. There's a prayer slip in the seat back in front of you. You can write your prayer on that, put it in the offering basket as it goes by later in the service, and then you can know that you will be attended to in this community for that situation as we see the highest good coming about. You can also call our confidential prayer line anytime during the week, and you can also leave a prayer request on our website. And if you would like sort of the personal touch of personal prayer this morning after service, you can meet with one of our prayer chaplains. You'll recognize them. They're wearing purple prayer stoles around their neck, and we'd like to recognize them right now for the great work they do for our community. Could you stand, our prayer chaplains? thank you for your love and your service to all of us. Charles Fillmore reminds us about the power of our thought. A great number of things that you look on as realities are simply transient shadows that can be dissipated into nothingness by your telling them that the truth as to their unreality. In any situation in our life, we can look to a greater truth. It's not that we discount that which is in front of us. We do not dismiss it as something that has a fact nature to it, but we look beyond it to a greater truth and a reminder of a greater life that we seek together. We have a reminder of that in our denial and affirmation together this morning. I will read it once. Let's soak in these words. And as I do, we will know the truth of them. Separation is but a transient apparition. Our oneness is the higher law. Our commonality is the higher truth. Our love is the higher way. Would you like to stand and join me? And together. Separation is but a transient apparition. Our oneness is the higher law. Our commonality is the higher truth. And our love is the higher way. Let's take a moment to greet those beautiful souls around us, and we have some great music afterward.
Get up on your feet, see the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet, see the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Everybody, get up on your feet, see the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet, see the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah.
It is my honor to introduce our guest musician today. Eric Tingstad is an American Grammy Award-winning multi-genre record producer, musician, and songwriter-composer. Best known as a fingerstyle guitarist, Tingstad has performed, recorded, and produced alternative country, blues, Americana, rock, smooth jazz, and ambient new age music. Will you please give a warm welcome to Eric Tingstad?
I was impressed from the beginning, but as I teased during the 9 o'clock service, I was even more impressed when I turned on my television to discover that there's an Eric Tingstad channel. Grammy Award winning. I love that. And I think of Matthew. You know, Matthew sang with the Grammy Award winning Kansas City Chorale. And I find myself thinking further, do you know there's a pianist in the house? Who has played Carnegie Hall? It's not who you think it is. But it reminds me of a higher truth, and that is that while it is tempting to look at those who stand upon a platform and say, oh, what a wonder, you are surrounded by others who represent that same wonder, I can quite promise you. Find the eyes of someone that you don't know and just say, you are a wonder of God. You know, seeing each other is a matter of willingness. It's a matter of practice. Seeing each other is a matter of willingness. It's a matter of practice. Saturday, March 30th, it is the third annual UIL on Stage. Please come see each other in a new way. The show begins at 7 o'clock p.m. This is the final Sunday to register for UIL's first women's retreat. It is written, Rediscover the Greatness That Lies in the Heart of Every Woman, for only $99. It includes all food, includes all materials. The Saturday morning attendees will be invited to join the rest of us for Qigong as it launches its 4-Saturday series. This ancient Chinese healthcare system integrates movements and breathing to bring revitalization and balance to body, mind, spirit. The class is geared for beginners and led by Anila Goldie. Goldie, will you wave to these kind people, please? Woo! And if you would like to join this evolving, unfolding divine idea we call Unity in Lynnwood, we have membership weekend coming soon. Join me for the Basics of Unity on Sunday, April 7th, following this service. That's followed by a Friday evening reception, which is followed by a Sunday morning induction. Applications, sure to be approved, by the way, applications are available at the Welcome and Information Station. UIL's small group ministry presents our men's group following the 11 o'clock service today. Please consider joining this new beginning. And here to extend an invitation to her group is one of our licensed Unity teachers. Will you welcome Karen Breen James, please?
Good morning. I'm here to invite you to join me to be a student of Myrtle Fillmore. And this group was to begin on February 24th. However, there were a few flakes in the air and on the ground. So now the beginning date is Sunday, March 31st. And there are so many wonderful teachings, new books, new inspired leaders in Unity. However, it is sometimes good to circle back to the basics and review the foundation of this amazing, practical way of living called Unity. And I truly believe that if it wasn't for Myrtle Fillmore, we would not have Unity as it stands today. And now, after reading, exploring many new ways of living, I am so enjoying being a student of Myrtle Fillmore again and relearning and practicing all of her wonderful, loving suggestions, and having marvelous results. I'll be at the information station after the service if you have any questions. And again, please join me Sunday at 9 a.m., March 31st in Friendship Hall to become a student of Myrtle Fillmore, the mother of unity. Thank you.
From a full palette of accredited courses to a psychological examination to a 4-hour written examination to a series of live interviews to a spiritual lesson delivered to a panel, such are among the requirements to be successfully navigated before being accepted into the field licensing program of Unity Worldwide Ministries. From acceptance, candidates are assessed and educational plans are formulated. I imagine it must be somewhat rare for a candidate's educational plan to include no additional curricular requirements. This would leave a candidate to fulfill such requirements as designing and offering her own service, attending board meetings, enriching his or her pastoral experience, basically experiencing senior ministry. So yes, I imagine it must be somewhat rare, but such is the case with your associate minister. Will you join me in celebrating Reverend Nina Clark this morning? You have provided a potluck luncheon to follow this service in continued celebration of your amazing accomplishments.
Well, I just want to add that I got to say something, right? I just want to add that it's so easy to think that this is something that happens in isolation, that I stepped onto this path alone, and I did all this stuff, and such is not the case. I had the help of LUTs that are right here in the audience that helped me with the classes that I took in order to get this far, and I had the undying and unwavering support of this beautiful man standing right here. Not only has he believed in me unwaveringly, but he has given me many opportunities to practice leadership, to step into a variety of roles within the church. And all of those combined are what made it so that I didn't have to take any extra classes.
On Friday afternoon, white supremacists opened fire in multiple mass shootings at 2 mosques in New Zealand. 50 were killed, more were seriously wounded. As documented in social media by one of the gunmen, this was yet another attack born of a racial and religious intolerance turned upon communities of color and their houses of worship. 6 at the Gurdwara in Oak Creek, Wisconsin, Black Americans at Mother Emanuel AME Church in South Carolina, Jews at the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We believe racial and religious intolerance are global epidemics which can be healed. We believe they are healed not only in every moment that we elevate our minds in inspiration and understanding, not only in every moment that we open our hearts in angst and outrage, not only in every moment that we lend our prayers in compassion and comfort, but also in every moment that we lift our voices in support and solidarity. They are healed in every moment that we speak counter to the purveyors of separation. Whether those purveyors of separation speak from the floors in our chambers of law, teach from the lecterns in our halls of education, preach from the pulpits in our houses of worship, or mumble from the aisles in our local grocery stores. Racial and religious intolerance are healed in every moment that we rise together with Patrick's strength of heaven, light of sun, splendor of fire, to lift our voices in support and solidarity to any policy of otherness by saying, our oneness is the higher law. Together, our oneness is the higher law. Racial and religious intolerance are healed in every moment that we rise together. Perhaps you would like to stand. In every moment that we rise together with Patrick's stability of earth and firmness of rock, to lift our voices in support and solidarity to any dissertation of otherness by saying our commonality is the higher truth. And racial and religious intolerance are healed in every moment that we rise together with Patrick's speed of lightning and swiftness of wind and depth of sea, to lift our voices in support and solidarity to any sermon of otherness. God help us by saying our love is the higher way. So yes, dear brothers and sisters of Christ Church, as our hands tremble yet again in the horror of recent events, we elevate our minds in inspiration and understanding. We open our hearts in angst and outrage. We lend our prayers in compassion and comfort, but we lift our voices in support and solidarity.
May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. The sun shine warm upon your face. The rain fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand.
He didn't really drive all the snakes from Ireland, even though greeting cards depict him glaring at a coil of serpents. And he didn't really carry a shamrock, even though paintings color him pressing those 3 leaves to his breast. He didn't really duel with druids, even though legend inserts him into settings akin to any Hogwarts battle. And he didn't really introduce Christianity to Ireland, even though history assigns him such a role. He's not really Irish. He's not really a saint. He didn't drink green beer, and he knew absolutely nothing of leprechauns. According to his Confessio, which is an autobiographical account, he was captured by Irish pirates and taken as a slave at 16 years old. He remained in Ireland for 6 years, tending animals, before hearing a mysterious voice saying, "Look, your ship is ready." at which point he escaped and returned to his family. Don't we all grasp our hearts when the lost pet makes his way home through unthinkable terrain to the delight of his family? Oh. Don't we all shed a tear when the warrior returns home to the embrace of his child, to the embrace of his spouse, his parent? Don't we all cheer when Dolly Levi finally descends that grand staircase to that rousing chorus of, well, hello, Dolly, it's so nice to have you back where you belong? Don't we all sense something of a transcendent and universal truth when Dorothy clicks the heels of those ruby slippers 3 times? There's no place like home. There's no place like home. And don't we all hum along when we hear 'twas grace that brought us safe thus far, and grace that leads us home? Patrick's life story joins ranks with Star Wars and Superman, The Lion King, each a representation of a universal narrative so deeply ingrained in the psyche of humanity that it saturates our mythology, our psychology, our religion, our drama, our storytelling, our literature. Those of you who love The Lord of the Rings, as I do, know that Frodo Baggins fled from his home to destroy that ring of power, and after months of grueling travel, except for flying with the eagles. That looked fun, right? But after months of grueling travels, he finally returned to his beloved Shire. Tolkien called this universal narrative There and Back Again. Now, at the outset of Joseph Campbell's model, the hero is prompted from the ordinary world, or from the world of safety, the world of predictability. The prompt may assume the form of a diagnosis, of a discontent, a decision, even a desire. The prompt may assume any number of forms, really. And though the comforts of the ordinary world are compelling, the hero eventually crosses the threshold from the ordinary world onto the path of the unknown. And in crossing the threshold from the ordinary world onto the path of the unknown, the hero navigates dangers, the hero navigates fears, and in navigating those dangers, in navigating those fears, our hero evolves. And in that evolution, our hero eventually finds himself or herself ready to step onto the path of return, transformed for the better. And I think with every attack on a gurdwara, on a church, on a temple, on a mosque, we're collectively stripped from the ordinary world and yanked over that threshold onto the path of the unknown. Like our Patrick, with every attack, we're enslaved in the foreign lands of racial and religious intolerance, where we must navigate dangers, where we must navigate fears. And as I meditated upon this hero's journey, as shared by Dolly Levi, as shared by Dorothy Gale, Frodo Baggins, Patrick, I asked the obvious question: how does the hero navigate those dangers and fears? What can we learn? And while the possible answers are many, one answer was quite simply far more compelling than all the rest. For as I meditated upon the wisdom offered by, the wisdom common to each of these heroes, it became quite clear that our heroes kept walking. Now, I don't know about you, but for me to speak into yet another attack from this platform might give rise to something of a despair. There's an aspect of self that might weave an insidious web of futility and hopelessness into my psyche. How can you, in a couple hundred people in Lynnwood, Washington, hope to make a difference? And I imagine that same aspect of self might have had Dolly fling herself down on that top step, Dorothy fling herself down on that yellow brick road, Frodo on that fiery ledge, and Patrick in that pig pen, each refusing to continue that hero's journey, at which point they would have slipped into obscurity with countless other would-be heroes we're not discussing this morning. Our heroes, they kept walking. We have a message that says all life emanates from the same source. So all life is fundamentally good. All life is inherently sacred. And because Dolly didn't fling herself down on that top step, neither do we. Ours is to keep walking this message of oneness into our world. We have a message that says all life emanates from the same source. So all life is bound in that proverbial web of mutuality. And because Dorothy didn't fling herself down on that yellow brick road, neither do we. Ours is to keep walking this message of commonality into our world. We have a message that says all life emanates from the same source. So whether we look into the eyes of the sick, the eyes of the Christian, the Jew, the Muslim, all we really see is the life of God expressed in a myriad creativity and beauty. And because Frodo didn't throw himself down on that fiery ledge, neither do we. Ours is to keep walking this message of love into our world. And so it is that today we celebrate St. Patrick's Day. Today we celebrate one whose adolescent years, you understand, we would have been sophomores in high school. We celebrate one whose adolescent years found him forcibly displaced to a foreign land, an enslaved immigrant performing physical labor for well over a quarter of his existence, for that 40 days, if you will, required of all who would move from old life to new life. And we celebrate one who finally heard that mysterious voice. So St. Patrick's story is one of strength. You see, Patrick's story is one of staying the course, if you will. We don't need the luck of the Irish. We need the tenacity of the Irish. For his true life story is reflected in the universal hero's journey of Dolly and Dorothy and Frodo and countless others, in its promise that as we step forward again and again for truth, such as we understand truth to be, eventually we will find ourselves answering the call of that same mysterious voice saying, "Look, your ship is ready." We'll find ourselves answering the call of a mysterious voice ready to carry an evolved humanity to a new community on the rolling hills of oneness, commonality, and a love as we stand arm in arm on the bow, humming together, "'Twas grace that brought us safe thus far." It's grace that leads us home. So we close our eyes. Let's close with world prayers. I turn to the prayers of our sick brothers and sisters who write, "Lord, teach us to make peace with all that surrounds us." May our labors and prayers converge to create a beautiful canopy of dignity, equality, justice, and friendship for all living beings under the heavens to live, to prosper in peace. May the entire creation move forward in solidarity, oneness of spirit and purpose, and together shape and inherit a legacy worthy of God and man, where peace is not a dream, but our true destiny. From our Christian brothers and sisters, blessed are the peacemakers. May we love our enemies, do good to those who hate, bless those who curse, pray for those who abuse, to those who strike the cheek, may we offer the other. And as we wish others would do, may we do so unto them. From our Jewish brothers and sisters, come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, that we may walk the paths of the Most High. And we shall beat our swords into plowshares, our spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore, and none shall be afraid. And from our Muslim brothers and sisters, we think of thee, we worship thee, we bow to thee as the creator of this universe, our only support. Thou art the ruler, the barge in this ocean of endless births and deaths. So praise be to the Lord of the universe, who has created us and made us into tribes and nations. Give us wisdom that we may know each other and not despise each other. We trust in thee, O Allah, the one who hears and knows all. We shall abide by thy peace. And we shall remember the servants of God are those who walk on this earth in humility. And when we address them, we shall say, peace unto us all. Christ with me, Christ before me, Christ behind me, Christ in me, Christ beneath me, above me, on my right, on my left, Christ when I lie, Christ when I sit, Christ when I rise, Christ in the heart of every man who thinks of me, Christ in the mouth of every woman who speaks of me, Christ in every eye that sees me, Christ in every ear that hears me. Today I arise, today I arise, today I arise. As we prepare to open these earthly eyes with their circumscribed view of truth, we do so not relegating this consciousness to previous moments, but with a commitment to carry it forward, that it becomes the new lens through which we see our brothers, through which we see our sisters. It becomes the new tongue with which we speak. It becomes the new heart with which we regard this shared journey. And we close this time together by speaking those words, and so it is, And so it is, and so it is. And amen.
Thank you, Dr. Richard. We'll continue to walk together. We have the opportunity at this point in our service to give. And as we prepare our tithes and love offerings, I want to remind you of our Giver Circle program. Whether you give by cash or check or credit card or EFT, please consider standardizing your giving by joining our Giver Circle program. It's safe, easy, and convenient and flexible, and it provides helpful information for our Board of Trustees. As we find consistent value in our services, it just makes sense that we respond with consistent giving, and forms can be found on the information rack as you leave the sanctuary. And always thank you to our online community for your gifts to us and your presence with us. Charles Fillmore says this: if we have freely received, we must also freely give to keep the substance going, confident in our understanding that our supply is unlimited and that it is always right at hand. Thank you for your gifts. Thank you, Eric. That was groovy. Let's bless these gifts together. God is my source. God is our source. And that source supports the evolving, unfolding, soul-stirring idea that is unity in Lynnwood in miraculous ways. And so it is. Thank you, ushers. Every Sunday, we certainly enjoy seeing friendly and familiar faces, but we also enjoy seeing new faces, people who might be visiting us for the first time. And if you are here for the first time, we'd just like to recognize you with a round of applause if you want to put your hand in the air. Anyone here for the first time? Nice to see you. Great to see you. Yeah? Good morning. Nice to see you. We're so glad you're all here. Awesome. In the seat back in front of you, you'll find a newcomer's information card that tells you more about our community, and there's also an information packet just in the information rack to the left of the door as you leave the sanctuary. And if you are new today, or you are newish, or need to update your contact information, you can use the Stay in Touch card in the same seat pocket in front of you, and put your email address on that, and we are blessed with a couple emails each month to keep us informed and inspired. As always, for information and registration for any of the events that I'm going to talk about today, you can visit our welcome information station here at the back of our sanctuary. Today's beautiful flowers, check them out, are dedicated by Welaine Sharples in memory of Kathy Heddle, who brought joy and music into the world. And in celebration of Reverend Nina Clark upon her accomplishments. Yes. If you'd like to offer a flower dedication, you can register in the gift shop. UIL's local humanitarian outreach ministry is accepting toiletry items in partnership with Trinity Lutheran. Grab a list of target items at the welcome information station, and should you choose to donate money, please indicate LHOM in the memo section of the check. Have you ever considered running for the Board of Trustees? Have you ever wondered exactly what these people do? Bring your best questions and enjoy casual conversation with UIL's trustees on Sunday, March 24th, following the 11 o'clock service, and of course, all are welcome. Adult Education presents the 12 Powers class starting on Tuesday, April 9th. The teaching and practice of the 12 Powers includes awareness of the power centers in the body, similar to the chakra system in yoga. The system connects the power centers to spiritual qualities symbolically associated with the 12 disciples. Explore and experientially apply the 12 Power system as a way of realizing and releasing your inner divinity. Dr. Richard facilitates. Thank you for that. And finally, early bird registration for the Northwest Region of Unity Church's annual conference this September in Eugene, Oregon, is open. The conference keynote teachers are Rabbi Ted Falcon and our very own Dr. Richard Loren Held. Two pretty cool people. We all know that. And the conference includes a dinner with others experience. Registration is limited to the first 60, so get on it. All good things happening here at Unity Lynnwood could also be found in your printed program by visiting our Facebook page or the calendar page of our website at unityinlynnwood.org.
And believe it or not, Easter is almost here, which means we're going to start our Easter choir rehearsals. So if you love to sing, please join us on the last Sunday of this month after the second service, and we'll start our rehearsals. Eric has some beautiful product for sale in Friendship Hall, so please stop by and support him. And if you'll join me, we'll sing our peace song.
Meant to be with God as creator, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace be only we, let this be the moment. With every step I take, let this be my joyous
know, if it were my birthday, I would choose to spend it with you as well. Will you wish a happy birthday to Shelley Oberman, please? Oh, this week marks the Persian New Year. Part of some Middle Eastern traditions is the establishment of a table holding 7 items which represent good luck or spiritual awareness. Such a table has been established by our own Nadine. Nadine, are you in the room? There's Nadine in the back. Now, I do not know which 7 items Nadine has chosen for this table, but I know one of them, and it is baklava, and it looks exquisite. So you might rush to the table celebrating Persian New Year. Take a deep breath, close those outer eyes yet again. If there's a first name of any soul, if there's a situation, if there is a complexity that you would simply like to speak into this consciousness of love and support, just say it now. So yes and yet again, yes and yet again, we welcome all who have turned anything of a spiritual ear to this very conversation. And we stand in solidarity in all that we know God to be. We respond by standing in a wisdom that is ample. We respond by standing in a love that is ample. We respond by standing in our understanding and awareness of life itself. Together with you, we assume that hero's journey. We keep walking. We keep walking. So we close this time together, this powerful time, by lifting our voices with great faith and with great boldness to speak these words of benediction. There is one power and one presence in, through, and around all creation. So we go forth as the eyes of divine love, as the tongues of divine wisdom, as the hands of divine sufficiency, and the bold and ready hearts of divine life. Blessings, Unity in Lynnwood.